Hey, good evening, brothers. How you guys doing? Friday night is hobby night, right? Hello, Camille. Hello, Daniel. Oscar. Sanguinius says, check your messages. Check my messages on where? Tonight I'm going to be painting some random bits to get ready for this RTT that I have coming up. So, I mean, all my stuff has 3 colours on it. It has all got bases painted, so in that sort of sense, everything is fine. But Lorenzo's in hospital, man. I hope you're alright. Good evening, John. Good evening, Dave Pikey. All the way coming in from Las Vegas, I think is where Dave Pikey's at. Hello, Daddy. Toasty Devil, good evening. Working on Sisters tonight. Yeah, as always, I'm working on Blood Angels. Maybe one. I always say, I've been saying for like 2 years, one day I'll not paint Blood Angels on my stream. One day. It'll happen. I don't know when it'll happen. It'll happen. If I have to nip away at any point, it's just because I need to move my daughter from her bedroom to my wife's bedroom, so I might go AFK for a couple of minutes. Vegas is lovely. 49 degrees. 49 degrees Celsius. That does not sound lovely. That sounds like I would actually melt. And yeah, I mean, yeah, that's insane. That's literally insane how hot that is, Dave. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're having a good day. Take it that you need like you must just go through water like it's going out of fashion. So I always thought I'd put a tiny little bit of paint on this land speeders. It's probably the most criminally underpainted thing in my army list. But just a little, I guess. Yeah, I mean the army list will be ready for next week's tournament. It's just some of the stuff is a long way from finished. Mark's building Grey Knight Terminators today. Oh, I'll check it. Discord. Give me a sec. I don't know, we had a crazy busy day today here, so yeah, I've probably barely been on my phone. Summer does that, you know. It's like summer. There's nice weather. Everybody wants to go do stuff, which I don't care. You know, I like doing stuff in the summer, same as everybody else. But like, I guess the internet and Discord and that take a back seat in my life in summer. Possibly even more so this summer because COVID, right? Like the last couple of years, you literally weren't able to do anything. So just being able to do stuff again is kind of nice. Good evening, Reziel. How you doing? I hope you guys enjoyed the video about the Titan yesterday, the Castellan. I mean, it made me tempted to buy one, honestly. I don't know if you guys saw as well, the Joy Toys came out today, the Blood Angels ones, the Death Company Joy Toys. There's 4, like you get 4 Death Company models. I mean, they look pretty cool. I'm just struggling to work out if I can justify £100 to buy them. But they're very cool, right? Bonjour, Nico. I did just buy a bunch of Death Company and Death Company Dreads for my Blood Angels army and a Baal Predator, man. You're going old school. Do you think the Baal Predator will get a rules update? Are you hopeful for a rules update? Or do you think it will be left? I don't want to say untouched, but I guess untouched is probably the accurate description. I remember a few months ago I made a video where I compared a Predator to a Plague Burst Crawler and said how much better the Plague Burst Crawler was than the Predator, and then the very next patch they made the Plague Burst Crawlers like 10 points cheaper. So, I mean, I'm not holding out my breath on Ball Predators, I'm afraid. Marcus says I don't like painting bases. My OCD goes crazy when I have sand bases on grass green table mats. I wouldn't worry about that. I would just slap on some texture paint. Every table mat you play is going to be different, right? So I don't know if you can worry too much about bases like what you said there. Alan says I got a question. Someone bought the Dark Angels Combat Patrol instead of Blood Angels to support Blood Angels. Is the Dark Angels a better box to start with? I think it is. You get the Redemptor Dreadnought, which is really good. You get Inceptors, which may actually be getting better, I imagine. I don't know how much you guys paid attention to the Khorne stuff that came out this week, but Khorne the Betrayer's plasma pistol got changed, whereas before a roll of 1 would instantly kill Khorne. Now a roll of 1 will do an unmodified, an unmodified roll of 6 will do a mortal wound against Khorne. So I guess my question is, it seems like a good thing, right? Like, it seems like maybe Space Marine plasma pistols are going to get changed so that they just do mortal wounds to the bearers rather than killing them. If that happens to the Inceptors as well, that'll be like a pretty big buff for Marine units. It's a bit, I've been saying for a while now, it's a bit silly that they kill them. Nico says if you're brand new to the hobby and have no other models, then yes. Otherwise, they're more or less the same. What was your Nico? What did I miss, Nico? But next season, if we have 6 CP starting with 3 CP, yeah. I mean, if you take like a Vanguard patrol detachment next season, or if you take like a super heavy detachment, you're gonna have very, very little CP to start the game with. I mean, maybe so little CP that it just becomes like not a viable option, right? There was a rumor that you're not going to get your Warlord trait and a relic for free, so I guess potentially seeing how that all pans out, I guess will really ultimately decide, I think. I love a Falchion too expensive though and not a sniff of one on eBay. Yeah, those big tanks don't come up on eBay all that often, and when they do, if someone's taken the time and painted them, they typically come up like just as expensive, if not more expensive, because there's a lot of work that goes into making those and painting those big tanks, I'd say. Good evening, sellers. Good evening, Atrial. I'm putting turf on bases of Terminators right now. Yeah, I mean, I think you can get away with just using the GW texture paint, but if you want to go a step further on the bases, and I think the main thing to do is if you're doing your own bases, buy your own mat that they look cool on, and then just make them look cool on your own mat, and then anytime you're taking photos or anything like that, just take the photos on your own mat and you'd be sorted, right? Because I have a couple of my own mats, and like some of them definitely jive more with my base style than some of them do, if that makes sense. Plasma Scepter, yeah, I mean the Dark Angels Combat Patrol box, I think it works just fine for Blood Angels. I think it's probably better for Blood Angels than the Blood Angels Combat Patrol box right now. I actually did like a kind of, I don't know, I guess it was like a sassy video where I basically said like, hey Games Workshop, if you're going to make another Blood Angels Combat Patrol, maybe you could ask me what I think, because I would guess that I feel like I would know better than, in that we get army lists from Blood Angels players on, you know, we do the army list show every week, so I know exactly what people are running, what people want to field, that sort of thing, if that makes sense. Mark says he paid for the big 30k box this week. I can't wait till it gets here. Love my beakies. Oh, Mark, where are you located? I was hoping someone would buy that big 30k box from Element Games. Give me that sweet referral commission, but I don't think anyone bought it from there. I thought it was a good price of Element Games. I'm thinking of buying it, actually. One thing I do like about the 30k box is how it's not like a lot of the other boxes they made for 40k were like pre-order in a small window, and that's the thing that I hated the most about those new boxes like Indomitus or whatever, or Shadow Spear or whatever boxes. Like, if you can only buy them in a very small window, it's actually kind of annoying, because they, you know, the windows don't always line up when people have disposable income and stuff like that, you know. So that's kind of my pet peeve on those big boxes, right? Nico says I'm going to put heavy flamers on the falchion instead of heavy bolters. What do I think about that? I mean, it's fine. The heavy bolters aren't really killing that much at range anyway. Typically your falchion's probably going to end up close to melee range too, because I mean it can kill things in melee as well, so I think I'm okay with heavy flamers on the falchion. I mean, I guess it protects you against some sort of charges. But I mean, your twin volcano cannon and your 6 las destroyers, and even if you had 9 heavy bolter shots, I mean, if you overwatch with that, you're protecting yourself a bit anyway, just because volume of fire, right? Like a lucky 6 or 2 on the laser destroyer and the volcano cannon, and you're killing stuff. Have you ever considered running a captain on a bike as Death Company? Before you kick off, hear me out. I'll send you the spec on another message due to the character. I had a list last year, Rilo, that went like 15 games undefeated on the stream. And it had a Death Company captain on a bike, and he was running Teeth of Terra and Imperium Sword and a Storm Shield. And I liked it a lot. He obviously had the pre-game movement potential. Brent says, hello, I'm curious, how do Blood Angels counter the foul blight spawn aura that makes enemies count as not having charged? Oh, Brent, Death Guard are a tough one for us. I mean, the foul blight spawn aura is actually horrific, because it not only does it count as not having charged, it removes like 2 of her attacks and her +1 to wound as well, right? Because everything counts as not having charged. It's not only the fight last, it's just not having charged. So the foul blight spawn, I feel like, is like a hard counter to us. Thank you so much for the $5 as well. I do really appreciate it. You know, you could have become a follower of the channel, and I mean, then you get perks in Discord and stuff as well for $5. So think about that next time. But and followers of the channel can actually send 1 free super chat every month. There's like a box next to chat that's for super chats. Anyway, I digress. The foul blight spawn, wherever he is on the battlefield, you kind of have to give that part up, because you're not making a successful charge into anything that's in that aura range, right? Yeah, you're just not. But the thing about Death Guard is, like, most of their good stuff is pretty slow. So, like, I think we can beat Death Guard by just choosing our engagements across the board, and definitely don't choose the one that's into the foul blight spawn. I mean, that doesn't help. But one thing that one sort of like edge case that's good into the foul blight spawn is he makes units count as not having charged. It doesn't stop Sangre Guard heroically intervening. So if you can, I guess like a plan could be to hide the Sangre Guard behind an objective just off of it, 6 inches away, with a view to heroically intervening, because then you still get your bonus attacks and your +1 to wound and all that sort of nonsense. But yeah, foul blight spawn is basically a hard counter to Blood Angels. I saw Steven Box, who is one of the best Blood Angels players in the world, play into a Death Guard list that I think had 2 foul blight spawns, and he had like a whole melee. He He had a whole melee list, and he really struggled. I think he lost that game by like 30 points or something. So if you're coming in, I mean, Death Guard aren't huge in the meta, but if you're coming into that list with Foul Blight spawns, you kind of need to pick your battles elsewhere on the map, honestly, because unless you have like overwhelming numbers, you probably can't win the fight. Because you will be fighting last, and you will be not getting +1 to wound, and you will be not getting your +2 attacks from Savage Echoes and Shock Assault. It's so much to lose. Another thing that I've done before with the Foul Blight spawn is use like a jump character, like a captain or basically any jump character that can wield an Infernal Pistol, and I've just basically jumped right up next to him and shot him in the face with an Infernal Pistol. I mean, like, he's not going to get a save from that, so if you can make him the closest model, I know that's sometimes impossible, but in some games, you know, they like to hide the Foul Blight spawn just behind or something. So if you have enough movement to jump over and you can make him the closest target. I actually did it with my bike captain once, just drove the bike down like an alleyway to the side and just like rocked up right next to him. Just shot him in the face with an Infernal Pistol. I mean, it's a minimum of like 2 damage because you'll be within half range, right? So that's an alternative, but yeah, you have to be really smart. You just have to not fight into the Foul Blight spawn. Try and win the game elsewhere on the map and come back to him later, I guess. If they park that in the middle of the board and they're just like, we're gonna have the middle, then it's really fucking difficult as Blood Angels. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I still bring some shooting in my Blood Angels army, because there is some things that just hard counter. If I didn't play Blood Angels, what would I play? Excuse me. I actually have a bunch of Thousand Suns behind me on the shelf. Probably have like 1,000 points of Thousand Suns. I've got a Demon Prince, I've got a squad of Rubrics, I've got a squad of Tansgors. I bought them a while ago at this point, maybe like 2 or 3 years. I bought them to make a kill team, because I really thought Thousand Suns and kill team are awesome, because all his dust is just really powerful in kill team, I feel like. So yeah, I figured at some point I would beef it out into a 2,000 point Thousand Sun list, but I don't really have any ETA on that or any plans to do it anytime soon. I actually just recently bought a bunch of Blood Angels things. I bought Terrax Drill, I bought 10 what they're called, 10 Tempest Scions, so I can convert them into Voidsmen at arms. I bought a Laser Destroyer because I don't have one of those, and I also bought my first Ironclad Dreadnought because I don't have one of those. So yeah, I just probably spent like £200-300 on Blood Angels maybe like a month ago. So yeah, probably Thousand Suns if I ever get to another army, but for now it's 100% Blood Angels. I hope I answered your question, Brent. It's difficult. I mean, the thing is, I don't actually find beating Death Guard that difficult as Blood Angels. Like, I typically always beat Death Guard. So, I mean, I've got a bunch of Death Guard matches on the channel. So, I mean, go watch some of them and just see, and like, Death Guard really like to, what's the phrase? Castle, I guess, right? Like a lot of really strong units together, possibly center board, or possibly pushing just into your home objective or something like that. So I just try and just play around them, usually because most of my guys are in jump packs. I can just decide where the engagements happen in the game, and I'm not going to engage into a giant squad of Death Guard if I don't think I can win the battle. So I'll just take all the side objectives, let them castle up and have the middle, but at the end of the game I'll have won it by like 20 points. I mean, that's the thing about 40Ks, right? You don't win the game by killing the enemy units, you win the game by playing the objective. Or the objectives, plural, I guess. Yeah, the Death Company captain on a bike, Rilo. Yeah, he was in my list that won like 15 games straight. I like him, I like the Death Visions. I think now with Armor of Contempt you can arguably make him even cheaper, right? Because you don't really need a Storm Shield anymore. So you can just have a Death Company captain on a bike without a Storm Shield, give him Teeth of Terra, I mean, give him Imperium Sword if you want him to reroll his charges and get +1 to attacks, and I think +1 to strength as well. So you've got like the Teeth of Terra on like strength 7, -2, 2 damage. He gets about 10 attacks, and you can straightably play a Death Vision that gives him +1 attack for every 5 models within 6, I think it is. And then also get... what's the other thing he gets? He gets to reroll all his hits. So you end up basically having like 11 hits. So if you go into a squad of infantry, like you should 100% just be able to almost wipe out like a squad of 2 wound infantry with that one character. It's pretty decent. And the Death Visions give him some quirky things to help keep him alive as well. Hey Commander, thought for a second it's a storm. No, do you know what? A storm, a Landspeeder Storm is one of the things that you guys... There's a few things that you guys have wanted me to buy recently. So I was saying what I've just bought, but I guess the other things that people want me to buy are... They want me to buy a Landspeeder Storm. They want me to buy one of the new Storm Speeder Thunder Strikes, those new Primaris Storm Speeders. They want me to buy... I think a knight. I think there was that night where like loads of people super chatted. Someone said like I had to take I put a Primaris helmet on a Terminator, and people got very upset about that. People started donating, trying to get me to take the head, basically to decapitate this Terminator, and I was like, I don't want to decapitate him. I've spent ages on him. It didn't stop people donating and trying to get me to do it, I guess. And I think the gist of it was that I was supposed to spend the money on like a super heavy tank or a knight. So, I mean, I guess I've got 3 more models to buy still. Nico says, I love the Death Company Smash Captain, but it's not really worth it, at least the way I'm running it. Yeah, I mean, he's situational, I guess. He fills a different role than a Death Company, I feel like. Is he better than a Death Company? I mean, I think it's just different. I mean, I don't like running 4 characters in lists, personally, because I think it opens you up to, like, Assassinate. So, but, I mean, the Death Company Captain, I think he can be a legit threat. I've had fun with him before. I think the pre-game move he can make can surprise people as well, because you often expect the Death Company to make a pre-game move. You maybe don't expect like a character with 11 attacks, and I mean you can arm him with the Thunder Hammer as well, yeah. I don't rate the Death Company characters at all. I think he's okay. Depends on what you want to kill. I enjoy playing him. I mean, that was before the Death Company went down in cost, right? The Kratos Fund, good evening Andy. I don't know Highland Phoenix. I guess people want to know if the Kratos is good. I mean, I can make a video on it soonish. I was going to say something about that. Am I going to rush out and buy a Kratos? I don't think so. Get all your models for free, just give all your Terminators Primaris helmets. Well, I did give a Death Company guy, I mean, I gave this guy a Sanguinary Guard helmet because I guess he's, who says Sanguinary Guard can't fall to the Black Rage? Nobody, right? So this guy, I may as well give him a gold helmet while I'm here. I was about to paint some gold. This guy's fallen to the Black Rage, so he's in the Death Company, but he's still got his Sanguinary Guard helmet. He didn't have time to take it off. He just painted his armor black last night, right? Did that Blood Angel's icon come in the box with the model? You know it did, Mark, but this is an ancient Landspeeder model in that, like, this was a Landspeeder that I'd had in a box for 5 years. I actually still have some other models brand new in their box because I bought a drop pod that I've never got to. I guess at some point maybe I was thinking of doing like what do you call it, like Devastators in a drop pod, and I guess I never got to. I haven't even built the drop pod, so I literally opened it, looked at the plastic inside, and went cool, and then put it back in the box. So this land speeder was one of the ones that was like, I don't know how long I've had this land speeder. It's criminal how long some of the models I've had that have had no paint on them, you know. So these things are like these things had. They'd accepted that their entire life was going to be living in a sealed cellophane box, and they're just super happy they're out and getting some paint on them. I think. Would I consider a Storm Shield and Hammer of Baal over an Infernal Pistol and Armor Indomitus for a captain on a bike, or is the loss of an Infernal Pistol, the extra wound, and the 3++ potential too great? I mean, if you're not going to take... If you're not going to take Armor Indomitus, then I wouldn't take the Storm Shield, right? Because the Storm Shield essentially gives you a 2-up save but ignore AP 1. Sorry. The Storm Shield gives you the 2-up save and no ignore AP, or you have a 3-up save and ignore AP 1, and I feel like those two things are pretty much identical, right? I think it's the Armor Indomitus that makes the captain... The Armor Indomitus basically lets you Angel Sacrifice into any enemy unit almost and survive, and I think that's what's strong about him. I think that's the strongest part about him, is you can basically Angel Sacrifice twice, because you can do it once and survive, and you can do it a second time. Yeah, sure, you die, but you could technically fight the second time if you wanted to as well. Mark has a drop pod sitting on the shelf for 17 years. Alright, you got me beat, Mark. Mine's been sitting there for probably 17 months. Atriel just bought a Sangre Priest, planning on giving him a Primaris head. Will gladly take any money not to do it. See what a great tactic that was, to put a Primaris head onto onto that Terminator. I just thought it looked cool, but people really hated it. I'm trying to firm up the Chapter Master whiffing in combat. Yeah, I mean, with a Thunder Hammer, there's always the chance you're going to whiff. I've seen it happen a few times on that Chapter Master. I mean, I've been playing him like 18 months, and it's only happened like 2 or 3 times where he's like just whiffed a bunch of his attacks. I guess I shouldn't worry about it that much. I mean, you're always going to have some whiffs in a game, right? Or you play enough games, you're always going to have some whiffs, I guess. Build, paint, play 40k your way, says Christian. I mean, that's pretty much it, right? Isn't that what Liam Dempsey says from the... I was going to say from Drop Zone TV, or actually from Liam Dempsey's own YouTube channel, and pretty much that's what he said, like, your 40k your way. I think it's a good way of looking at it. Atriel says that Trajoran being the same price as Dante is a travesty. Yeah, I mean, I think Trajoran's pretty great for his points cost. I mean, Dante has some redeeming features, but yeah, Trajoran is just a great character. I feel like he's really competitively pointed. Who knows what will happen with the new chapter approved? But yeah. My thought on Trajoran is just if I could field Trajoran, I would field him. He's such a cool character, and his points costs, I don't know, his points costs just seem really competitive. What gold do I use? I use Retributor gold for all my gold, man. Or Retributor armor, sorry. I usually wash it afterwards with Reichland Flesh Shade. So usually I pretty much always I always wash it afterwards with Reikland Flesh Shade, so it changes it from sort of like this sort of like I guess this is almost a bit like an angelic gold to a much more bronze gold. If you've never tried it, I think it's a cool color scheme. All my gold models in any video you watch will be Retributor Gold, and then I think it's Reikland Flesh Shade that I use. Is it Death Company with a Thunderhammer? It is, but he was in the Sanguinary Guard, so he's fallen. I was basically patching this guy together with pieces that I had because I realised I don't have enough Death Company with Thunderhammer guys. So this guy has like Death Company legs and chest piece. I think this is a Sanguinary Guard shoulder pad. I think this is a generic jump pack, but with a Death Company bit on the top. This is a Deathwatch shoulder pad in here. I have no idea how I'm going to paint the Deathwatch shoulder pad actually. And then it's a Vanguard Veteran Thunderhammer, so it's a bit of a mismatch or a mishmash, whatever you want to call it. But I just wanted to get a fourth guy for my squad with Thunderhammers. I get so many Death Company models, but surprisingly, like I never made them back in the day with Thunderhammers. They all got like plasmas and power axes and power sword. Like I got a lot of power swords and hand flamers, but I mean, I just don't think those things are particularly competitive at the moment, I guess. Good evening, Nothing Butts. Good evening, James. How you doing? Deathwatch shoulder pads are so tight, gives it so much fluff. Yeah, I mean, the Deathwatch shoulder pad really came from watching that Angels of Death TV show on Warhammer Plus. I liked the guy. Oh, I forget his name now. I was going to say, I'm not even going to guess. I thought it was Raphael, but maybe I'm thinking of another Blood Angel. Boltgun metal, unknown for shoulder, dark metal. Yeah, just all the lettering and stuff, you just put all boltgun. I was going to say, I don't. Is boltgun metal even still a paint, or is it null? Is it lead belcher now? Try washing your Retributor Gold with shiny Iraqs, highlight with Liberator Gold, and a final highlight with Stormhold Silver. I've seen people that do that, Christian, and it looks awesome, but I'm like the slowest painter you've ever seen, so plus I'm not sure my painting skills are really, I wouldn't say they're high enough to do four paints on a colour, so yeah, unfortunately, where my strength is on the tabletop. I'm not really the greatest painter. I like my models to look good, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I hit a wall where I can't really progress much beyond that. My eyesight really isn't that very good. I'm short-sighted, so that's when you struggle to see things that are close. If you didn't know that. So I do my best, I guess. I prefer Retributor Watch with Guilliman's contrast. I didn't even realise Guilliman had a contrast. What does that look like? Monkey Brain go one kit coat. Yeah, okay, I definitely don't do one one thick coat. I'm surprised Blood Angels don't have pilots for Thunderhawks falling to the Black Rage. I mean, technically anyone can fall to the Black Rage, right? I'm sure at some point it's happened to a pilot, but we've just never really heard about it, right? those barrels need drilled. I sent a post in Discord a few weeks back about someone, it was kind of funny because quite a few people are passionate about barrels needing drilled, and someone made a post in Discord saying that they bought a bunch of models off eBay and the barrels were all drilled and they filled them all in with green stuff. I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, I guess that comes back to that question of, or that sentiment of, you're 40k your way. If you don't want to drill your barrels, don't drill your barrels, I guess. I've never done it, and I like to have everything uniform. I just wanted to get a fourth color on this thing, so I guess I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I mean, I guess I got 5 colors on this. So, I mean, it's a long way from finished, but I guess it's tournament legal now, right? Best tactic to beat Imperial Knights, says Pac-Man. Overcommit on single knights and try and play the objectives, I guess. Like, don't do what I did a few weeks back and leave a bunch of knights on 1 wound. I mean, that's definitely not how you want to do it, because they still count for obsec. Good evening, Sentinel. How you doing? Five Death Company Marines, 3 Thunderhammers, 2 Chainsword, and 5 Death Company Marines with Power Swords, 3 Infernal Pistols. That's pretty heavy. I'm gonna run. I think in this tournament, I'm probably gonna run a 5-man Death Company with 4 Thunderhammers. And I probably thought I would never run it. That's why I never built that many Death Company with Thunderhammers, because I didn't like it. But I mean, I'm not even sure I do like it now, but it seems like the sane play with Armor of Contempt and stuff being so strong. And I mean, if I'm running the Priest and I can get them to Assault Doctor in turn 1, it seems like a decent shout. I want more short stories where Blood Angels falls to the Black Rage. Did you know that I just got my copy of that Astaroth book? I mean, Astaroth must have some stories about Black Rage, right? Bring Visage of Death against Knights. That's actually a good point, yeah. I mean, the removal of Obsec is going to help a lot. That game against Chaos Knights has kind of convinced me to give Visage of Death a try, because by the end of the game, if the game had gone like one more turn, I think I would have killed every Chaos Knight on the table, or maybe there would have been 1 left, and I had guys on like 4 or 5 objectives, but it was too little too late. Like, the Knights just flooded the objectives early in the game, and I couldn't score any points, because they all count as like 5-man or 10-man, and they're all obsec. So like, I've never felt primaries as tough to score, I feel like, as that game against the Chaos Knights. So yeah, I think Vision of Death is a very good tool against that, and I think it's definitely, if you haven't tried it, I think it's worth trying. Which character do you give it to? I guess that's the $1 million question, and how you use it, but I definitely think it's worth trying. Actually waiting for the Sanguinist book so hard. Yeah, I mean, it's coming, right? I think I saw that like book 6 or book 7 in the Siege of Terra series is now available in Audible. I was looking a few days ago because Audible gave me some credits. I must admit I spent my credits on a Star Wars book because I'm a sucker for Star Wars. give it to the tankiest dude possible. Yeah, I mean, you can give it to the tankiest dude possible, but I mean, giving it to a fast flying, or yeah, I was gonna say a fast flying unit. A fast unit can also have some good, have some good strength in there as well, I guess, right? So I know one person was convinced to buy a falchion after the video yesterday. Is anyone convinced to buy the Castellan? Does anyone like the Castellan after the video that I made? Was anyone on the fence and thinks like, hey, wow, the Castellan, that's pretty tasty now? Because I actually I thought before the Night Codex came out, I was like, I quite like the look of the Castellan. And since doing that video, I mean, I just like it more, I think. How would I paint the Castellan? Would you pick a house or make it a free blade? I would actually paint it Blood Angels, dude. There's a really cool upgrade kit you can find for Blood Angels. If you search Legio models, like Legion without the N, Legio models, they're like a third-party 3D printing site. I think they're somewhere in Europe. They may even be in Russia. But I think they sell a third-party kit that basically can take one of your knights and make it like much more Blood Angels themed. And it costs about the same as the knight itself. It's like $80 or something. But it's very cool. And I think that if I was going to do a knight, that's what I would do. Is it canon? As in, like, is it canon that that Blood Angels would have a knight? I mean, the 40,000 Warhammer 40,000 is a pretty big universe. I think you could probably argue that on one Blackwater world somewhere there was a knight that was abandoned, and Tech Marines probably came in and saw that that's a big model and it would be worth, or a big unit and it'd be worth saving, and Blood Angels could have it. Is it officially going to be canon in the books? Probably not, but I mean, it seems that Christian said you're 40k your way earlier in the stream, and it seems to have come up 5 times already. So yeah, I mean, just as canon as you want it to be canon, I guess, is the way I would look at it. But alright, sorry, I'm trying to do these stupid armor joints. I mean, I guess they're not stupid, but they're fiddly. Around the legs here, and you've got little blood drops that are just going to hang over and obscure them, because of course, why would you not have little blood drops that obscure them? So if I miss something in chat and you want an answer, just ask it a second time, because chat was going a little bit too fast for me here. But I mean, I am kind of excited to run 5 Death Company. I haven't done it in... Well, I've done it once in like the last 2 years or something, and I've never done it with this level of Thunder Hammers, or this level of like buffage, I guess. Because I can basically make them +1 to hit, reroll all their hits, and put them in Assault Doctrine from turn 1. And give them an additional 2 inches of movement, and give them the 12-inch pre-game move. So I can get a 26-inch move. I can have 20 Thunderhammer hits, hitting on 3s, rerolling all misses, so that's 88% chance to hit if you do the math. So I could basically have, what? Well, 90% would be 18 hits, so I'll have between 17 or 18 Thunderhammer hits in turn 1 on pretty much any enemy model that I want, and then we -3 damage each. Yeah, I mean, it might not work, but it sounds pretty decent. How long did it take to build the falchion? And you build and paint it in 2 weeks? I doubt it. I mean, how many hours a day do you do modelling, Nico? Actually having trouble with painting Death Company rope things with the washers. They just don't go into the holes. You mean like the rope things on the jetpack here, or you mean something else? Sorry. I mean, these Death Company would have been a lot easier to paint if I hadn't assembled them, I guess. But I don't do any sub-assemblies anymore. I used to, and I used to always end up butchering half my paint jobs with when I was gluing them together, so I just don't try. Haven't been to Hobby Hangout in a while, says Actor Living. So many people are here. Yeah, we've been having a lot of people hang out on the hobbies, which is nice. I always try and hobby Saturday night around 10 o'clock UK time, which is like 5 Eastern, for like 2 hours. And I think I've been pretty regular as of late. Like, I can't remember the last time I missed a Saturday night. Probably going to miss a couple this summer because I am taking the kids away for a couple of nights. I've got a wedding one Saturday, and I've got like this family reunion thing another Saturday. But like, for the most part, I feel like I've been really regular with my Saturday streams. I don't advertise them beforehand, but they're always here. They're always on Saturdays, same time. Will I be getting the 30k box set? Yeah, I mean, it's on my to-do list, Robert. It really is. I don't know when I'm gonna get it, and I don't know when. Like, it's a lot of models to put on a backlog of a. Like, I haven't really bought too much new stuff of late, but like, I just got so much stuff to get through. I mean, I've got like 30 half-finished Terminators. I really want the new Relic Terminators. I kind of want the plastic Spartan, if nothing else. It's another great centerpiece for an army, right? I don't really care about the Contemptor or the Tactical Marines, but I figure I could probably do something with the Tactical Marines eventually. So yeah, the 30k box set is on the list. Am I going to be pre-ordering it? Probably not. Will I get it in a couple of months' time? Yeah, I think so. Green Blood Angels are called Goths. Yes, lucky fucks. I have to watch your name, man. Robert has cleared his pile of shame. Good for you, Robert. I mean, that's an accomplishment in of itself. Yeah, like this guy's thunder hammer is right in the way of this armor joint, which is annoying. You could squeeze in 2 or 3 hours per day. I don't know if you can do a falchion in 2 weeks and 2 or 3 hours per day. I don't know. Tony was in the chat. Tony's a master modeler. He does commission work. Could you do a falchion in 2 or 3 hours per day, Tony? For 2 weeks? Making it? Painting it? I feel like it's a pretty big ask. The super heavies take like a long time to make just because you end up having to like hold, unless you've got like really good clamps, you end up having to hold pieces of resin together for like, these are big pieces of resin, big heavy pieces of resin. You need to just sit and hold for like 20 minutes while your glue dries. And even then sometimes you do that and then you let them go and then straight away it just falls apart and you have to reapply the glue. I mean, I use really good super glue as well, and sometimes even with that, it can be difficult on some of those resin pieces. I think it took me like 2 or 3 weeks to build the falchion, and then probably like 2 or 3 months to paint it. But the problem as well with painting that falchion is if you make it, like, that thing is heavy, dude. That thing must be like it's so heavy that if you're trying to hold it to paint it, it's so heavy if you're trying to hold it to paint it, you'll like give yourself a dead arm, I guess. So yeah, based on the fact that like it's going to take you a long time to make it, it's going to be difficult to paint it because it's so heavy, I think 2 weeks is very optimistic. I mean, if you do it in 2 weeks, by all means put a photo in the Discord and you can claim victory over me, because I took ages on mine. Don't talk to me about armor joints. I made 25 Death Company, then started painting them. Yeah, I know. I guess that's the price you pay for making them and then spraying them and not doing sub-assemblies, right? You have to deal with these annoying armor joints and stuff like that. It's fine. All be worth it in the end when they look cool, right? Gregor says Greg says the arm's the last piece that goes on the models. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, maybe I'm too, maybe I was just too inexperienced to do sub-assemblies. Like, maybe I really needed to make sure that the joints weren't painted, like mask them off or something. Because if you don't mask the joints off and you can't get the glue, and you end up like basically ruining some of your hard paint work, and that's always what seemed to happen to me with sub-assemblies. Sanguinius says you need about 60 to 70 hours to do a falchion. Trying to think. I made my falchion before I had kids. And I think before I had kids, I probably put 10 weeks in. 10 hours into the hobby like every week. So if I was putting like 10 hours in, it probably took me like 20 or 30 hours to build, probably somewhere in between there, like 25 hours to build, and then probably the best part of 100 hours to paint, I guess. It's not difficult to claim victory against John for painting or building speed. Thanks, Daniel. I do appreciate that. I don't. I mean, I find the painting and stuff quite relaxing, right? Like, I love other high stress stuff in my life. I quite like the fact that I'm slow at painting and can sometimes just either sit and chat to you guys or sit and listen to an audiobook and just you know, I take a lot of satisfaction on like when I complete models and I spray them, because I always varnish my models when they're complete. So I take a lot of pride and stuff when I get to that varnishing stage, or whatever you would want to call that. So yeah, I may be slow, but what is it they say? The tortoise wins the race, right? James says, I've wanted a falchion for years. I'd have to buy more than one, so my custom chapter for my 30k Dark Angels. Okay, just trust me, just buy one. And once you see the instructions for the falchion, you'll get a good laugh, because like all other Forge World instructions, they are how would be a nice way to put it? The instructions are concise. I guess that would be about the nicest way you could talk about the instructions. Instructions are nice and concise. Yeah. But you're taking the model and land speeder with all the stuff it can have and then declaring it with whatever you can afford, like saying rockets don't work here. I hate doing sub-assemblies. Just use magnets. Just use simple little magnets and a hobby drill. You can pick up a hobby drill on Amazon for like probably under a tenner. And if you're ever buying multiple things or multiple units, trust me, like Toasty Devil comes in.
Toasty Devil donated $5 via Super Chat. Trying to paint faces tonight, and it's making me fall into the black rage. Horus is right in front of me.
Yeah, that's why most of my guys wear helmets. Thank you so much, Toasty, for the $5, and thank you, Robert, for subscribing. Do appreciate it. I lost what we were saying about that beforehand. My son has introduced me to 40k and I'm considering Blood Angel's army. Thoughts, anyone? Says VB Outlaw. I mean, VB Outlaw, you've joined literally a channel that has 10,000 subscribers and we all play Blood Angels. I think in terms of YouTube channels that focus on a single faction, I might be the biggest one. So I mean, if you've got questions about Blood Angels, we can answer them for sure. You would also get like a lot of tips and tricks on this channel, so that might help you out. You wouldn't have to research everything because I've done the research for you. You just have to watch my videos now and then. But yeah, very welcome to answer every questions. I mean, Blood Angels are one of the most popular Marine chapters. We do have a lot of unique units. There are some selling points. We are a little bit behind the curve this edition, but it always goes around. One army is weak for a little while, one army is strong for a little while. That's in 40k, that literally swings every 6 months. So sorry, Toasty, you interrupted my train of thought. I mean, I do really appreciate the $5 and you're more than welcome to. Oh yeah, we're talking about magnets. Dude, just magnetize your, if you ever buy a, if you buy like an expensive dreadnought from Forge World, I guess that might have changed now because they're making a bunch of the dreadnoughts in plastic. But if you buy a dreadnought where each arm costs like $20, you don't want to have to buy the whole dreadnought and the 2 arms again. Like, that's just so expensive. And honestly, like, dreadnought arms, if you've never magnetized stuff before, Dreadnought Arms is a really easy place to start, and I actually did a video on magnetizing a Contemptor Dreadnought. So if you search like Blood Angels Commander magnetizing Contemptor Dreadnought, I basically showed you like how I magnetize it, and I believe in that video I even actually fucked up and drilled the holes in the wrong place to begin with and had to re-drill them. But it's just so worth it. I feel like I really do feel like magnetizing is it's a great skill to know how to do, because I'm guilty of not magnetizing everything, right? Like sometimes I get a unit and I look at it and I think, oh, it's going to be a bit tricky to magnetize it. For example, like my aggressors, right? But like, how many times have you heard me in the last 6 months say, oh, I have aggressors, I have 6 of them, they're all fully painted, but I can't field them because I put the bolt guns on them and I think flamers are a lot better. So it's like, if I'd just taken the time to do that, I would have had like 6 units completely painted that could have been fielded in the new edition because the rules sometimes change. And yeah, I mean, that's my own stupid fault. I literally have the drill and I could have magnetized them, but at the time, I guess I just thought like, oh, bolters are way better here, I'll just do bolters. So it seems like anytime you think you're saving your time and effort by not magnetizing, you're actually just probably hindering yourself down the line. So yeah, I mean, you're asking, should you model the land speeder with all the weapons? You should 100% learn to magnetize. And it's not hard. Once you've done it on one model, you'll find it. You know, it's so easy. Like, I had this guy off just this Sangri guard, right? Like, look, I mean, like, how easy would that be to change his arm? In fact, actually, when I come to paint this guy will be way easier to paint some of these Death Company guys as well, because I'm just like, there you go. I just paint in there really easy and then put his arm back on. Also paint the inside of his arm really easy as well. So, I mean, when you've got him above, if you're looking at him from above on the tabletop, can you tell he's got a magnet in him? I mean, I don't think you can. It's absolutely fine. And he's got a Primaris helmet. Look, cute, Primaris helmet on the Death Company. Super chat because you don't like it. That's fine. I used to speed paint for faces. I wish everyone had Clint Eastwood squinting eyes. Oh, you use speed paint? Oh, right, okay. I've heard some people talk about the speed paints, but I don't really have any experience with them myself. I'm just not great at painting faces, so I typically just aim to make my guys with helmets. I like helmets anyway. I always personally feel helmets make more sense in Warhammer than faces, because like, you're literally in a war zone. Why would you not wear a helmet if you have an option of like a super advanced helmet, right? Because I assume that the Space Marine helmets, they're pretty advanced, right? Aggressors would be tricky to magnetize considering their backpacks, ammo belts, possibly, yeah. Yeah, so that's why I probably bailed out and didn't do the aggressors, and now it's come back to haunt me. For my Centurions, I did magnetize the assault launchers and the hurricane bolters. I didn't magnetize the flamers on their arms, but their chest mounted weapons, I 100% magnetized them because I was like, I don't know. And I'm glad I did, because I was like, I assumed that I wouldn't ever need the bolters on the Centurions, but then there's Steven just about winning a super major with Centurions with bolters, so I'm like, oh, glad that I magnetized those bolters. So yeah, it does seem like if you can magnetize, you probably always should, because if you don't, it'll just come back to haunt you, I guess. Unless you're made of money and like it's no issue to just buy the same boxes you've already bought and spent the time painting over and over again. And in that case, then I guess you just wouldn't worry about that either, because you could just pay someone to paint them for you, right? Tony doesn't magnetize infantry because he's lazy. I mean, I guess that makes sense as well. Yeah, I mean, so magnetize your expensive models. It's definitely worth learning how to do it. I mean, if you don't need to magnetize all your infantry, but then you could always spend some time learning how to magnetize so you could do a character. For example, one of my bike captains, I've made it so he can have a storm shield, he can have a power sword, he can have a power axe, like he can literally just about... I painted all the different weapon options. So based on the number of points I have left in my list, I could literally just take his arm off and put on the specific arm that I need. Based on the points, and I think that's worth think it's probably worth doing, right? There is no magnets on the sponsons, Nico, for the falchion. Both, they just come with one sponson, and it's, I guess, like in that case, it's just, you just say it's the laser destroyers or you say it's the las cannons. I guess they literally don't come with a different option. So I guess four las cannons just basically looks the same as the laser destroyer. You can glue the storm shield to the bike hull to save time. That's very smart. Werty says, has anyone been looking at the new Warzone Nephilim rumours which will change their lists and game plans? My latest list would start with 0 CP and it was made to do Stranglehold, which is gone. I didn't realise they'd already announced what secondaries were changing. Werty, where did you read that? I will do a video on that, on Warzone Nephilim, as soon as it comes out and I get a copy of it. I did actually email Games Workshop as well to ask them, because apparently once you have 10,000 subscribers, Games Workshop will talk to you. So I sent Warhammer Community like an email, I don't know, maybe last week, or maybe the beginning of this week, I don't remember when I sent the email. But I did reach out to them and see if they will talk to me about like getting preview copies of stuff so I can review stuff early and let you guys know the rules and what you need to buy or anything like that. VB says, I literally just saw it on the screen, where'd it go? Seen enough of the comments and hearing, so you subbed. Oh, thank you so much for subscribing, VB, I do appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking of starting Blood Angels, this would not be... I mean, we actually do a army list show so if you look at the time now and take 2 hours off of it, we have a Blood Angels army list show that goes out every Sunday night, like 2 hours earlier than it is now, so like 22 hours from now. We talk about we take community submitted lists and we look at them and we make comments on how they could be better and stuff, so yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too many channels on YouTube doing that, so you'd be welcome to come and hang out in any of those streams, ask questions. Plus, I guess if you're getting started for the first time with the army, you kind of want to see what top lists look like, right? So you don't waste your money buying units. And as a Space Marine, there are like a lot of units that are kind of duff, I guess, at the moment. So you kind of don't want to buy too many units that aren't in a great position. Depends how competitive you want to be, I guess. But if you're, if that's something that you want to ever get towards, like high-end competitive play, or at least giving people a run for their money if they play against you, then you probably want to know what's best, what's synergizing the best at the moment, stuff like that. But no, I really do appreciate the sub, thank you. Is the 4 las cannons or the laser destroyers better? 6 D3 plus 3 or 8 D6? I think the laser destroyers are better. It costs, the laser destroyers cost 10 more points than the las cannons. You get 1 less shot, but you do get +1 strength, you do get +1 AP, you do get D3 plus 3, so a minimum of 4 damage, more likely averaging 5 damage. I've run it with laser destroyers. I guess the las cannons have more range, but yeah, I think the right call is laser destroyers. I think I said that in yesterday's video, right? Did you watch yesterday's video? Oh, you'd love it if I made more videos where I focus on how to beat enemy armies. I mean, I could definitely do that. That video that I made YouTube's a weird one, right? Like, I made that video to beat Death Guard and it didn't get very many views at all, so I assumed people didn't like it. But then, you're not the first person to say, hey, I really liked that video on that you made on like how to beat Death Guard. Oh, I should have said that earlier, because somebody I forget who it was now. Someone was in the chat asking about the foul blight spawn. I actually have a video on the channel about how to beat Death Guard. I mean, not specifically the foul blight spawn, but how I run into Death Guard and how I beat them occasionally. I try and break, like, when I go to tournaments, and I'm going to a tournament on Saturday next week, I try and do videos like on those games and stuff, and try and share anything that I learned or share how I beat certain armies. So I'll probably aim to do some sort of content around that tournament next week. I'd like to do reasonably well at that tournament as well. I'm still upset about how I failed at the top table at that tournament. The last tournament was at in November. There's a reliable rumour on chapter approved on Reddit. Okay. I mean, I said at the beginning of the stream I hadn't been on the Discord or anything much today. I just family stuff, I guess. But no, I mean, the second I have like reliable data worthy, I can definitely. I'm definitely going to make a video on Warzone Nephilim. I mean, usually when I make those videos, I find that I learn something myself. So, I mean, you can pretty much guarantee that, like, anytime there's new rules that affect us, I will make a video on it. I mean, I'm obviously happy to take questions and chat as well, but yeah, I know I'll definitely make a video on it. Nico says, can I bribe you to do my list on the army list show next week? I mean, you are a channel member, Nico, so if you submit a list, I can give it priority, yeah. If you want an example of pointless magnetizing, I magnetized my Blade Guard veterans so they can be posed in every available option. The shields magnetize on the backpack as well as the arms. Nathan, it sounds like you got too much time on your hands. Do you want me to send you some models you could magnetize for me, and then you could send them back to me? How about that? Oh, technically we made a video on the Elders on the 3 Grots channel, says Tony. I mean, we do have our other channel. I do have a channel with Tony and Mark, and on that channel we do videos. Maybe not. It's not quite the same as the video I made on, like, just flat up how to beat Death Guard as Blood Angels, but we do videos on those we're working through all the factions. A few weeks ago we did Knights, last week was Grey Knights, the week before that was Black Templars. So I mean, if you search YouTube for 3 Grots, I think we're the top result when you search 3 Grots now. So we do, we just passed 650 subscribers on that channel as well, so we'd love it to get, we're trying to build it. So we do videos on the 3 Grots about how to beat specific armies, what to know. We look over all the stratagems, we talk about what we think is strong. So I mean, if you want some Warhammer content, we do a video every 2 weeks, and it's usually about 90 minutes. I never understood the Proteus Land Raider when Forge World was making it. The plastic Land Raider was such a big deal when it came out, and it's much cooler than the old RT era thing. I'm not sure the Proteus. I mean, what's the Proteus got? It's just got the ability to take a 5-up invulnerable save, right? But I mean, the Forge World rules changed a lot in 9th edition. So what it had maybe in a previous edition might have been a bit different, but I actually think it was the same. I think it had the ability to just get that better invulnerable save in 8th anyway. Some of the Forge World models I think are just made for Rule of Cool. They're not always made for competitive, and then sometimes they're maybe made for 30k, and it just so happened to have a datasheet for 40k, right? I mean, if you look at like land speeder javelins, like, I don't know why anyone would field a javelin. Like, they're so expensive points wise, and like, are they any good? I think in all the time we've been doing the army list show, I've seen like a javelin included like once or twice. I just don't really know who or why would include a javelin. I mean, they're a cool model, right? We should do a Blood Angels v Blood Angels Grots match. I'm going to invite the Grots up here at some point. We've talked about it a few times. I'm in the odd situation. I wouldn't say it's an odd situation, I guess. I'm just in the situation where I have like a 6-month-old baby at the moment, and if you've never had a 6-month-old baby, then trust me, you can't do nothing. You can't get anything done when the baby's awake. Like, I can't even sit down at my desk and work for like 5 minutes with the baby sitting on my knee, because he just gets frustrated and he just shouts. So yeah, at some point, once my kid's a little bit older and things are a little bit easier, then yeah, we're gonna have the Grots on the channel. We're gonna get them up to Scotland. Maybe even if we get to 1,000 subscribers, Tony, we'll maybe even do a live stream from the pub, and we'll just we'll take my fancy camera that lets you live stream, and we'll do a stream from the bar or something. One of these Saturday night streams that I won't be here, we'll be at the bar with the 3 Grots. Sounds like a plan, right? You've seen how I drink, Tony. You better be prepared. I have 1 speed. Go. To be fair, probably what will happen is those 2 will have to carry me home because I'll be a mess. Speaking of magnets, so I was repairing and digging more models out. I ran across a squad of jump packers that had the jump packs magnets, and I magnetized, and I really don't see the point of that one. I mean, I guess if you... Yeah, I guess magnetizing jump packs is probably a step too far. But again, sometimes it'll kick you in the ass, because I have a Death Company, or I have a Blood Angels drop pod, and obviously jump pack units can't do it in the drop pod, so if I had Death Company and I wanted to put them in the drop pod, then I would have to buy more Death Company, rather than just pull the jump packs off them with magnets. So yeah, magnets are like a Warhammer 40,000 player's best friend, and you can probably never go too far when you're magnetizing, I guess. I guess it just comes down to how much time you have. Hold on, my daughter's up, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Cool. Mark will beat us both. I mean, Mark drinks mead or something, right? So he's a very experienced drinker. I like to feel I used to be an experienced drinker, but maybe not so much now. Rizal says he's a fan of the 3 Grots. Rizal, I do appreciate that, thank you. The short version of the chapter approved rumours: start with 6 CP, get 1 every player turn, so 2 per battle round. No more free warlord trait. Yeah, that's what I heard. Secondaries changing. Stranglehold until the last are gone. Okay. I never really picked Stranglehold. I know a lot of people rate it, but I'm not really a Stranglehold player, I guess. Wait, is there a release date for the Nephilim Or was there a release date in the leak, sorry, Bertie, or anything like that? Do you think an Inquisitor as an agent of Imperium is a viable option to farm CP in the rumoured CB changes? I mean, I've used Inquisitor before, I don't think he's bad at all. I guess the only danger with the Inquisitor is like how quickly do you open yourself up to assassinate? Are you running 5 characters at that point? Or 4, maybe not 5, but 4, do you know what I'm saying? And that's the only thing that I dislike about like Agents of the Imperium is like I hate giving my opponents easy to... Like I like it when my opponent looks at my army list and goes like, oh, your list's pretty difficult to pick against. I was like, that's kind of the whole point, because if they pick one bad secondary, sometimes that can just win you the game because they picked a secondary they don't score many points on, right? VB has raised 5 kids to adulthood. Dude, I've spoken to my wife extensively. We just recently had our second kid, and like, anyone that has more than 2 kids, like, 1, how do you do it? And 2, are you actually clinically insane? Because when you've got 2 kids, you just have no time whatsoever. I can't imagine ever wanting more than 2 kids. We're so lucky we got a girl and a boy. I was like, we got a girl and a boy, love, we're done. We're done. Trust me, we're done. Nucking has 3 kids. Who's got their fingers chopped off nucking? Sanguinius says I just paint whatever mat crap I feel like these days. As soon as I finish a meta unit, it's immediately nerfed anyway. Isn't that just the truth, Tony? So you just paint what you enjoy to paint, I guess. The amount of times I've painted meta units to have them sit, and I mean, I guess that's why sometimes, like, I did Centurions, like, must have done Centurions a year ago at this point, and I did them because I liked the look of them and I thought they were cool. So sometimes that should be the driving factor, right? You found a unit, you thought it either works in your list or you thought it was cool. Make that the driving decision behind some of your painting. Uh, 25th of July is the rumour. Okay. So then I guess it'll go up for pre-order like at the beginning of July, because they usually do like a 2-week pre-order on chapter approved. I don't know if I feel like I got enough value out of that last chapter approved book. You know that? I only play 1 game a week because of the kids, and like it's a big ask. Like, so I only play 1 game a week, and honestly 2 or 3 weeks in this last and I've missed a few weeks through like illness and COVIDs and stuff like that, so I've maybe played like 15-20 games. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if 6 months is the right time for chapter approved. Just, do you guys think 6 months has it been long enough? Are you guys ready for a new chapter approved, or did you prefer like a year cycle? When your kids start to outnumber you, you have to make sure that they listen. Yeah, my 2-year-old doesn't listen to me half the time. But she listens to me when I say, please, I'm not going to ask you again. Everything I ask her before that, she doesn't listen to. Yeah, I mean, James, you're probably right. I mean, if you only play 1 game a week like me, then I guess chapter approved feels like, I guess, because what is there, like 8 missions? 9 missions? So by only playing like 1 game a week, then realistically, I've only played every mission 2 or 3 times, and we've got a new book where I got to learn everything again. So yeah, I mean, maybe it just, to me, it feels like a little bit too fast. But I do feel like I'm probably the minority. I feel like I say that, but like when I talk to Tony and Mark on the 3 Grots, and I say to them like, "Oh, I only play 1 game a week. You know, I don't know if that's enough." Sometimes they say to me, they're like, "Oh, well, we don't even get to play 1 game a week. So if you were playing just 1 game every second week, then I guess like in Chapter Approved, you might not have even played every mission before there's a new book, or you've played every mission once and then it's like, bang, here's a new book." So I'm not sure I'm loving the new idea behind the 6-month release on Chapter Approved, to be honest. I guess we'll see how it continues. How does the group feel about Eradicators ×6? I'd probably run them in ×5, because that would let you do the cheap transhuman, right? But I mean, I think Eradicators are a good unit. I think they're solid core. I think they do a ton of damage. I think in cover now they're really good, I guess. I mean, I like them more than attack bikes now, I think, since Armor of Contempt. I mean, maybe I liked them a tiny bit more than attack bikes before, but Eradicators overall, I mean, I think they're pretty strong. Rizzo would second the 5-man. 6 months is great, but not if we have to buy it. Well, here's the question, Werty, I guess, right? Because last time we had to buy Chapter Approved, it was $25. But they've taken the points costs out of the book now, right? So the points costs are being delivered separately. So I guess the question is it still going to be $25? Because, I mean, that was my question. Because like, $25 felt like a lot for what you got, maybe. But then, like, I'm, you know, like, I was out with my daughter today. I'm happy to, you know, it's weird, like, you know, kids' shoes, I literally had to spend $30 on kids' shoes today, so it's like, I have a problem buying stuff when it's for my daughter, but I have a problem buying stuff when it's for, like, the one hobby that I do. So I'm a bit weird. I guess I'm a bit weird when it comes to spending money. But yeah, I guess I just need to feel like I got value, and I don't know if I feel like I got value out of the last Chapter Approved book. It would be more hassle for a company getting Chapter Approved printed as books than it would be to just put it out free. People need to stop paying a tax for the rules erratas. I feel like it would be better if it was not necessarily free, but like, I think it would be better as part of the Warhammer app, because then they could just update it all the time. But I understand some people really hate the app. My problem with the app is that I hate doing stuff on a phone screen, right? Like, I'm an old person now, I feel like I'm 40 next year. I just pulled out my Chapter Approved issue 239, it's $7.50. Chapter Approved was $40 in the US, it's too expensive. Yeah, $40 when you only need like a couple of points of rule changes and a couple of updates to secondaries. It's a lot of money. Yeah, my problem with the app though is, like I said, like I have a 27-inch monitor here. Whenever I'm making an army list, I'll make it on I'll make it on the monitor in Battlescribe. I just generally like browsing the internet, or I like doing things. I just think it's much more efficient with a mouse and keyboard. I mean, I've been brought up my whole life with a mouse and keyboard. So, like if there was a way where I could get all the points changes and stuff and work on my lists on my desktop, because that's where I like to work on lists. I know some people are happy to do it on the sofa, but I guess I guess my point is, like, it should suit everybody, right? If you love the app and love working on your lists while you're sat on the sofa on your phone, then great, more power to you. But I mean, for me, I would love to just work on them at my computer. I think that's what I don't love, I guess, about the app. Like, I just don't use the app because I can't use it on my computer. What ground do I use for the bases? I use, I'm lazy, man. I just use Games Workshop texture paint, and then I use Games Workshop wash. So you just put this texture, if you go back over some of my old videos, you'll see me, you just put this on, you don't even use a brush to put it on. Use like one of these, like, you can actually see the texture paint here, like in the little file, I guess. So just like scoop this stuff out, push it all down, and then wait for it to dry, which takes quite a bit of time actually. Maybe like may even take like 3 or 4 hours for this to dry. But this paint, Armageddon Dust, is actually the exact same color as Xandri Dust. It doesn't look quite like it because this is a little bit more mucky, but trust me, these two paint, this Armageddon Dust is basically Xandri Dust with sand in it, I think. But there's the Games Workshop technical paints for bases. There's some crackle paints you get. I'm not even sure I picked the best one, honestly. Like, I've seen some people doing it with like the crackle bases, and it looks kind of cooler than what I've done. But like I said it before in stream, like I'm never going to change how I do stuff. I want everything to be uniform and match. I've got way too much stuff done in this one style to change now, I guess. Considering how slow I am. But yeah, I mean, the Games Workshop texture paint make it very easy to do bases these days. You just need some sort of, like, I bought those like spatulas, I guess. They're almost like from the old science classes you did when you were a kid. I bought those spatulas on eBay and got like maybe like 10, no, maybe not eBay, maybe like Amazon. Maybe got like 10 different variants of those spatulas for like under $10. Yeah, 40, still a kid. Yeah, I mean, sure, not many people say that. My group of friends, I'm one of the oldest. I tell you though, I did buy an electric skateboard recently. I got the scars to prove it as well. Electric skateboard is actually really fun. I don't know if you guys ever skateboard. I hadn't skateboarded in like 30 years, but I've just started getting back into it. Fuel is insane at the moment, so I wanted to see if there was a way I could commute to work, like much cheaper. And I've started doing it on an electric skateboard. And I honestly forgot how fun skateboarding was. Pac-Man loves the dust as well. Alright, so some people love what I've done, or some people love the similar sort of dusty. But there is, like, if you can actually go to a GW store, they have like so much. They'll just let you try out the different texture paints in the stores these days, and there's a lot of them, and they're all really cool. I guess just pick something that contrasts your paint style, or your main paint colors, I guess, is the main thing. You know, I don't have a lot of browns in my models, so I guess these contrast reasonably well. As I say that, I'm literally painting some brown rope on this guy, but for the most part, I don't have a lot of browns. Ed still skates a bit. How old are you, Ed? Nathan says I prefer Vallejo texture paint. It's much better price. Do you know what? I've been using some of these Vallejo model color paints, and they are great for their price. The paint lasts so long because it's the proper dropper bottles, so you don't waste any paint. So if anyone says to you Vallejo paint is good, I'd say it's brilliant. Just as good as the Games Workshop stuff. In fact, the white is actually better than the Games Workshop white, and it's cheaper. You can get it off Amazon, so you can get your free next day Prime delivery, and you can also get the paint also lasts a hell of a lot longer just because it's in those dropper bottles. Oh, Reziel uses that paint as well. Thanks for hanging out tonight, Mark. It's nice to hear from you, and really do appreciate you hanging out. Have a nice evening. Alright, I'm going to put like one more colour onto these guys. I'm going to call it a night. I usually try and wrap about midnight. So yeah. But I am going to be back tomorrow night for the Armyless show, and then I think I'm going to be back on Monday. I think we are playing on Monday this week. We obviously had to cancel last week. But we are going to play on Monday night this week, up against Death Guard. And Colin might be bringing a Chaos Knight. So it might be Death Guard and a Chaos Knight. He was humming and hawing about the list. I'll post it probably at some point tomorrow whenever he sends me it. I appreciate that, Patman. Yeah, I always try and think that the way I like to think of these streams is just like, you know, when you go to a hobby shop and you just sit and you chat and you paint. That's why I always try and think that these streams are supposed to be, I guess. Like, just chill out. Talk a little bit about Blood Angels, talk a little bit about anything, you know, like last week people were definitely talking a little bit about the new Obi-Wan show, but we tried to not put too many spoilers in the chat. Oh, Ed's 44. Alright, cool. So I'm not an idiot relearning to skateboard at... I'm only 38. I'm 39 this year. I did crunch myself though, like on like day 2 on the skateboard, like totally came off it, smashed down onto the ground. Took the skin off both my hands. It was fun. Gotta work a bit quicker though, so I mean there's that. Fortunately it was the way home that I crashed. Oh, thanks to very kind, Toasty. If any of you guys have a specific idea for or anything that you want to see in upcoming videos as well, please let me know, because like I said, I'll probably make some content around the tournament that I'm going to, but yeah, things might be different. I was trying to think. I'll need to find out when the lists actually need to be submitted for that tournament, because I might need to do a stream where we talk about some of the lists. So I might have a stream on Friday night next week actually, where we just look over some of the lists of the armies that I'm unfamiliar with for that tournament, because I don't like to go into tournaments blind. I like knowing as much as I can, or if there's an army that I've never played before, because yeah, I mean before the last GT I had that game against the Tempest Scions and I'd never played the Scions before, so doing my research on the Scions actually really helped guide me to that victory. So sometimes it is so worth spending a little bit of time before a tournament looking at some of the lists, figuring out just what you may end up being up against. You're 42, Riziel. I wouldn't have guessed that from the stream we did together. I'd have thought you were maybe about my age. But I mean, like, I guess when you get older, a few years here or there, it's very difficult to tell, right? This guy has so many blood drops on him. Why does he need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? This guy has 10 blood drops on him. Oh damn it. All these blood drops. Nico says he's 17. Oh wow, okay. Nico, you're doing well then if you're buying a falchion at 17. I tell you, when I was 17 I couldn't afford a falchion. Pac-Man says he hates painting Death Company. Lorenzo is 41. Oh, so there's a bunch of folk around my age as well. So we got people from all... We go right up and down the spectrum here. We got people as young as 17. We got people as old as, I think, 58 was the oldest last time we asked in the chat. I think... I'm not going to say who was 58, but I'm pretty sure that was 58 last time we did a check. That's mad. I hope I can still be doing this hobby when I'm 58. Maybe I'll finish my pile of shame by then. Maybe. Seems unlikely, but maybe. Yeah, I mean, when you're painting a model that's got 10 blood drops, it reminds me of those Terminators that I did that just had... The Terminators just have so much detail on them, you know? It was your birthday. Oh, right, yeah, cool. Dude, that's a great birthday present to get. £1,000, $1,000, either way, that's an awesome birthday present. Don't know if I ever had a birthday where I get $1,000. You should... I hope you know how lucky you are. I'll never build a Death Company box using all the parts again. Too much bling, spread it all out. Yeah, it definitely feels like there's a lot of bling. I like the bling though, it'll be worth it in the end. Someone was 60 plus in the chat survey, were they? I don't remember. I do remember someone coming in like really high 50s, like 58 or something. You know what, I should have painted these guys' eyes. I should have made that a priority for tonight to just get some paint into all their eye lenses, because it just gives their face a little bit more. My main priority here was to just get like another color or something on all the guys, so it looks a little bit like they're a little bit beyond battle ready, I guess. Like, what kind of glue do I use? I use this one. It's like cheap modeling glue. You can get it in like bundles of like a 3-pack for like under $10, and it comes with a pretty good like metal applicator thing. So glue's coming out, but yeah, no, more glue than I want is coming out. There we go. Revel Contact Professional. I think it's very good. Very good for this sort of plastic. Sticks stuff very quickly, very reliable. Once you've smelled that glue, you will forever remember where you were the first time you smelled it as well. It's like one of those weird things where you can hear some music and like it'll take you back to the first time you heard that song. It's like this sort of like weird memory thing that humans have. You don't get it so much from like videos or movies or something, but you definitely get it from like music and smells. Every time I smell that glue, I'm instantly transported back to like my parents' house when I was like a 10-year-old, and there was like a room. It was like, we had this room that was basically the shittest room in the house. It was cold, it was like single glazing, and it was kind of like, it had like really cheap carpet on the floor. It was just like a nasty room, I guess. And whenever I smell that glue, I just instantly remember being in that room, like on the floor gluing Warhammer models. Even like 30 years on, I guess. Weird how like sound and smell will do that to you. I think that carpet was honestly the thinnest carpet you've ever seen in your life, and it was like this horrible beige color, and I swear it was actually like peeling off the floor in places. Like, it was just so gnarly. Okay, so we got someone. VB is 59. Like I said, I hope I'm still doing this hobby at 59. I think it's a great hobby to have. I think it's a very wholesome hobby. Alright, I'm going to do a tiny little bit of silver on these guys, and I'm going to call it a night because it's just past midnight, guys. The Thunderhawk is the classic. The Stormbird has a silly name. I mean, the Stormbird's cool. Tony, you can't be thinking of buying a Stormbird. Have you actually finished your Thunderhawk now, then? Yeah, I don't know if I want a Thunderhawk, because, I mean, I like models that I can actually use and play with, and I guess the Thunderhawk, to me, as cool a display piece as it is, I'd rather a display piece that I can field on the board, right? And I guess I'd probably go and like buy an Astraeus, even though I guess maybe the Astraeus isn't the most competitive choice. At least it's something I feel like I could probably field, whereas like a Thunderhawk, I guess you could never field, right? Nico, let us know after you've built the falchion and painted it, if you fancy, because my experience of buying like a Forge World model like the falchion, or even like some of their dreadnoughts, is like you buy it, you make it, you paint it, you finish it. You're really proud of it, but at the same time you think to yourself, you're like, I'm not buying another Forge World model for like 6 months, because they're serious. They're just serious business, I guess. Like, they're not easy to make. Sometimes the parts, like the resin and that, just doesn't all stick together perfectly, and you've got to go and file it, and you've got to go back and forth. That's usually how I feel after I've done a Forge World model. I'm very proud of it, but I feel like I'm also ready for a break from Forge World for like 6 months. You'll have to let us know how you feel. Sean's gonna 3D print a Stormbird. Jeez, oh. I didn't know if you could 3D print something that big. Highland Phoenix has always wanted a Castius Assault Ram. They did it in Legends, but it's out of print. Does that actually have a datasheet, Highland? Like, what is that? Is it an older model, or is it a Forge? Is it a Horus Heresy model? Sorry. It's not ringing like any bells for me whatsoever. Alright, I think that's me for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'll be live tomorrow night. We're going to talk about Army List shows. I'll be live on Monday night. We're going to talk about... well, we're not. We're going to play a game on Monday night, probably. My last game before this tournament. And then probably maybe I'll have a bonus stream next week where we talk over some of the lists that we're going to come up against that I'm not super familiar with, so I can not suck if I end up playing against them, I guess. You're excited to find out how you... I'm excited to find out how you'll do with the Forge World tank. So it's such a cool, like, when you completed it, it's just such a cool centerpiece to have for an army, though. Alright, I better go wash my brushes and go take my daughter to bed. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks again for hanging out. Should I bring a librarian for the 5++ on the falchion? I don't know if you need it anymore with Armor of Contempt. You'd need to hit it with like -5. So -4 would give you a 5 up. Yeah, so I don't think they're hitting it that much with -5. I wouldn't bother if I was running the Falchion now. If I was running it pre-Armor of Contempt, I would have probably done it, but now I don't think I would bother. Alright, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks again for watching. Thank you so much for the super chats tonight. I do really appreciate them. Same as the new subscribers. Yeah, there is a link in the video description to Discord. If you aren't there, why not come hang out? You can talk to Reziel there, and Reziel will shoot down your ideas and tell you how to do it properly. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks again for watching. Good night. Peace.